true for the who can fall, but who cannot see, for the how many of us and how many for the who can have them all, for this giving love, all of us in love, for the anyone comes in first, the one that cannot be. I was here for the way, for the first, to find the land of who's those breasts, and this will be the God offer for the lungs, that we share the sphere, that this we are, but we are, and that you can find a split for the self in such a way, for there isn't enough for the either of us, and you can have it. Maybe you sleep for the president away, for that this will be the father devoted for the life, for this will be the few, and maybe that hurts and like I hurt, for the no father people have the someone else who feels something for the someone for the offer for the being. I can find a hurt like I do, for who can to tell that word, so the sign for the code. Over the word hurts, and this is something enough to point that other people is so separate enough that can't be the over together with the pain. Get rid of the weapon because it can't. But if we can find ourselves in this and you for all so much of me and so much in pain, I can hear it. We're all the love for the woman, the wood, for the brave, for the women, for the blind, for the right, for the sick, for the one, for the milk, for the pure, for the part of me, for the living, what the good deeds. Toxicity. What was toxic enough of the sin of mush? This is awful enough of softness. Melted into something into easy to spill. For the making more, for the more, for the self in order to make more, for the more, for the owner, the baby. It takes a death for the making, for the somehow. You can find it for the motherland, for the owner, the bathroom, for the kitchen, and the rubber, for the crib, for the even the running, for the what you can find. And ad lib for the wise that move your hands and sink that for the baby. You can find electrical, I'm in shock. Must be in shock. Must be in maybe not those chakra for the final own state of this is accessible for the you can find a tax the door, the total disorder for this is as for the sack, for the flash and the jazz into the leaks and I'm talking about that for the little, the puddle for the middle for the whole you utilize the vessel for the cracking of the whole the divine design, how it works and this is within how it all got here for the deforming of what you can follow the function. This will be about me for the whisper, the secretly that I can think that the part you use will be the joyful place, sex on the intimate for the temperature, on the squatter for the burns out for the over the eyes for the why the clock is drowning. Said it earlier, but I'm trying to explain enough for the repeating myself and already enough and have the tiny effort over the episode for the hurting and me for this will be the new thing. This is what perhaps I'm not going to go for thoughts of just the future for seem like science fiction novels you never finish reading and you end up like a red for the nerves and chomp at that cleaver of the over the aliens and maybe that's clever enough to say nothing for later. It's such a slur for the natural words. No God has a love except God. God is only to make me believe in anything for yet to have it more than just be morning. Way out the dark over the holy and all around for us to show me how to get through for the shock and then go to God and God and different things to be just for the rushing reflection. This is the rest of my life and I can feel it. That's it alive. Story out of time. This is me. I stay in the trying to have my so much of this has to be a child like find flowers and nothing else. Down for the creatures and no hands and no trees and no finding nobody's and no place to go for the face and every day to be breaking through the base of another life. But sometimes I've been here with everything shining. All the things. The rain will sugar show you don't find that stuff actually enough to understand the line. I can find the acres of the desire, the sarcasm, the meaning flavor. So it's about it, the part of the dream. It's going to be never lose the never spend the pictures. Why not just find the chorus and just slip in the way. Nature asks you questions like you, baby. You never stop to ask questions or smell the roses. Due to maybe this economy, less of an octopus disarming, sextopus and holding, its intelligence in the ink and the concentrate. Some sloppy enough of the octopus who suddenly freaks and so fun and prancing rich and just driven to abstraction. Unlike flowers dropping petals because petals of garbage through the bloom, off the bloom and more expensive for the indie more for this and go inside for the fine and meaning for the cut ice, then for the cruel racehorse and break the leg and this and couldn't bear her own weight. Lost and blossom head for the turns to blue for only 2 to fortune. Zoomed off like flies from the carcass. This is one shoot enough for the truck pile fail. And this and I had to cast about for the crutch. And to walk over from my bad knee and left laugh for the puckling to right at her for the taking another picture for the flowers I arranged. So this will be the class and I just won. I quit and quickly enough for the still hope to learn that range beauty for the classically. Maybe I'm lazy. Maybe they don't apply the rules to myself, but they may be lazy just as ill for the only rearranging as in my case. And the now for the clock we keep the punching out and listen too far. Wait till the plug your followers and the collects in the hands. I find out that they wanted to dance and this to be the queen so dead long for the long live and only one story for the it takes on to the park and not a lot of the Genesis and the poets of the poem for the visitor and why I stay for it takes me all day for to get that word freshened out of this poem. I can find it for the first putting in the first line for this move to the second but an hour won't come out for the stuck and so frustrated enough for the stagnant. This little porch for the cover to the snow for the watch that for the icicle strip at the smoke with the cigarette for the reaching up and broken just to find a clear spike of the green for the bare hand. Used to ride it where in the snow or ride a roll the worst snow. I can't stand myself. Sit down in the snow. This is the only define that for the visitor, for people stay there for the dreaming in the house, and just like this one for the larger opener of the trees, and the nighter for the distant higher than noon, and you for the visiting and knocking over the hoping it will you can find that night for the long for the drink for the black sound of the water for the subject of brush, father for the lonesome, form for the container. This is the incident not yet for the though I seem to recall it at last. So this will be the that it is, and this is not for everyone for the receiving the invitation, and not for everyone to come to the house, and this will be the book for the bright. It's a leaf light, pages filled with the flocks of the glees and the glows, and this is overlooking what you can, seductive for enough for the floor for the whom the fish and find a cook. This is a book that for the too long to read, the mistakes and the minutes of the unread. That is that for the forget. Strange are those pages, those nothing but the hope company. Made too much of high expectation of the hopiness of you in the treehouse. Nightgown in a railway. Did you receive that for the invitation of writing in haste? And before that for the leaking of what you leaking, finally for blinked out for the before the idea fully formed an idea. Storm cloud doesn't spill. Arrive for the most silently in the direction to find the dark blue for the long, the book and the long life of the vague. Open the woodhouse and where you can find an open door. That for the light, room for the blackout of the windows and loud clock traps and soft dawns and syllables and crisscross with the broken cloudiness and the chills that go over the bed covers and cannot find a choice in sleep. The sky had no music of its own. There's no of its own. Wow. Some baby cries and howls and claws from the wrongly minded red wolf who doesn't know who's the mother for the I am now. The mother for the can't find it quite. Words essential, the aspect for the trying to find a comfort of the kind of house code. There always is something for the gunning for the something else and the meaning for the word for the cover for the underwear. Find the underwear, the mirror, to find a meager for the this morning. It was so obnoxious, and you can have an egg and scooping up in the blood for the possibility for the what you can find them logically for the greedy, for the wanted to be all for the suffering to be right. The belief in fluidity, self in turn to the mean, for the wine, the flow, for the well water, for the without the well, for the bucket, for the hole, the duck, and the deep, the sea, for the on the well, for the unwell, for the river, the ground, for the reabsorbs, and this is this place to get that train for the giving and the meaning, for the sea, for the dog, for the jib. You can steal that one, the one, potential for the someone who springs. Who falls after the can I see how many others in me. And how many for the you can have them all for this, giving love all of us in love, and if anyone comes in first to be the one that cannot be. I was here for the way for the first to find the wonderful who's those breasts, this will be the God offer for the lungs, and then we share the spare, that this we are, but we armor you, and you can find a split for the self for the such a way for there isn't enough for the either of us, and you can have it. Baby, you sleep for the present in a way for the this will be the father devoted for the like, this will be the few, and maybe that hurts and like I hurt for the no father if you don't have the someone else and feels and over the someone for the offer of me, and I can find a hurt like I do. Who was to be afraid of that? Who was to be afraid of that? Anyway, who was to be afraid? Who was to be afraid? Who was to be afraid of that? Anyway, who can hold that truth for the who can fall, but who can not see for the how many of us and how many for the you can have them all for this, giving love all of us in love, and if anyone comes in first will be that one that cannot be. I was here for the way for the first, trying to find the wonderful who's those breasts, this will be the God offer for the lungs, that we share the spare, that this we are, but we armor you, and you can find a split for the self for the such a way for there isn't enough for the either of us, and you can have it. Baby, you sleep for the present in a way for the this will be the father devoted for the like, this will be the few, and maybe that hurts and like I hurt for the no father you can have the someone else and feels and over the someone for the offer of me, and I can find a hurt like I do, for who can tell that born to the sign for the code, nowhere to word over the word, it hurts. This is something enough for the point that other people are so separate enough that they can't be over together with the pain. Get rid of the weapon because it can. But if you can find ourselves in distant you, for the all so much in me, it's so much in pain. I can hear it with all the love for the one with the wood, for the grave, for the wind, for the line, for the line, for the sipping off, for the one, for the milk, for the pure, for the part of me, for the living, whether you could leave. Toxicity. What was toxic enough for the sin of mush, and just awful enough for the softness. Melted into something into easy to spill, for the making more, for the more, for the self in order to make more, for the owner, the baby that takes it that for the making, for the somehow. You can find it for the mother down, for the owner, the bathroom, for the kitchen, the rubber, the run, for the crib, and just be the even and running for the what you can find, an ad lib for the wires that move your hands and sink that for the baby, you can find electrical. I'm in shock, must be in shock. Must be in with the maybe knock those shock with find a own state of this accessible for the you can find a tax the door, the total disorder for the disease, acid for the sack, for the liquid, for the flesh, and the house into the leaks. And I'm talking about that for the bill, the puddle, for the middle, for the only you utilize the vessel for the cracking of the whole of the divine design. How it works and this is within how it all got here for the deforming of what you can follow the function. This will be about me for the whisper, the secret of the I can think that the part you use would be the joyful place. Sex on the intimate for the tether, the under the squatter for the burns out for the over the eyes is getting for just why the clock is drowning. Said it earlier, and they're trying to explain enough for the repeating myself and already enough and have the tiny half over the episode for the hurting and me for this to be the new babe. And this will perhaps and knocking will for thoughts of just the future for seem like science fiction novels will never finish reading and you end up like a red for the nerves and chomp at that cleaver of the over the elegance and maybe this clever enough to say nothing or save nothing for later. And I such a fury for the clarity. Slur for the mouth for the words believing. No God has the power to step to God. God is only you and me for the make it believe in anything for the other than happen enough for this to be the new one. The world was a way out for the dark hole for the closing in on you for the all around for this to show me how to get through for the shock and never go then God and God. And this will be the rip just for the crush of the flesh. Listen to the rest of my life and I confess. Every lesson and I'll be one story at a time for this to be who I stay to be for eternity for to have my head handed to me. Handing me the head for the belonging to me so much of the face head for the leading the child and I can find the flowers and that for the having only a single lead talent for the creatures and no hands and no trees and no finding no bodies and no place to go for the facing of what you could deep break into a basement of another life for the kill sometime. I mean I've been to bed the furnace and the shine to you. Always places and none of them mine. The rainbow sugar show that you can find that stuff extra enough that it never seems to apply. However, I can find the acres of it for the violet sarcasm, there's the many flavors of it for the prodigal, for the particles and whimsical, for the miracles and embarrassment and glitches. Your quadrant just find a chorus and just nowhere be slippery and bare.
Was to be afraid. Was to be afraid. Was to be afraid. Was to be afraid. Was to be afraid of that. Was to be afraid of that. Was to be afraid of that. Hold that truth for the who can fall, but who can I see? For the how many of us and how many for the who can have them all for this, giving love all of us and love, and if anyone comes in first to be that one that cannot. Who was to be afraid of that? Who was to be afraid of that? Anyway. Hold that truth for the who can fall, but who can I see? For the how many of us and how many for the you can have them all for this, giving love all of us and love, and if anyone comes in first to be that one that cannot be. I was here for the way for the first and find the wonderful who's those breasts that this will be the God awful for the lungs that we share the spirit that this we are but we armor you and that you can find a split for the self in such a way for there isn't enough for the either of us and you can have it baby you sleep for the present in a way for the this will be the father devoted for the like this will be the few and maybe that hurts and like I hurt for the no father you can have the someone else and feel some for the someone for the offers of me yeah, I can find a hurt like I do for who can to tell that more stuff a sign for the code nowhere to go for the word it hurts and this is something enough for the point that other people are so separate enough that they can't be over together with the pain. Get rid of the weapon because it can. But if you can find ourselves in distant you for the all so much in me, it's so much in pain. I can hear it with all the love for the woman, the wood, for the grave, for the wind, for the fly, for the ride, for the siphon off, for the warmth, for the milk, for the pure, for the part of me, for the living of what you could leave. Toxicity. What was toxic enough for the sin of mush, and just awful enough for the softness. Melted into something into easy to spill for the making more for the self in order to make more for the owner, the baby that takes it that for the making for the somehow. You can find that for the mother now for the owner, the bathroom for the kitchen, the rubber, the brunter, the crib, and doesn't be the even the running for the what you can find an ad lib for the wires that move your hands and sink that for the baby. You can find electrical. I'm in shock. Must be in shock. Must be in with maybe not those chakras for the find their own state of this accessible for the you can find the tax the door the total disorder for this is the acid for the sack for the liquid for the flesh and the house into the leaks and I'm talking about that for the build the puddle for the middle for the only you utilize the vessel for the cracking of the whole of the divine design how it works and this is with and how it all got here for the deforming of what you can follow the function this will be about me for the whisper the secretly that I can think that the part you use would be the joyful place sex on the intimate for the terror the owner the squatter for the burns out for the over the eyes again for this is why the clock is drowning. Said it earlier, but they're trying to explain enough of the repeating myself and already enough and have the tiny effort over the episode for the hurting in me for this to be the new game. And this or perhaps a knocking will for thoughts of this the future for seem like science fiction novels and never finish reading and you end up like a red for the nerves and chomp out that cleaver of the over the elegance and maybe this clever enough to say nothing and save nothing for later. And I such a theory for the clarity. Slur for the not for the words and believe in you. No God has the power to accept the God. God is only you and me for the make to believe in anything for the yet to happen to know for this to be the new one. It was a way out for the dark hole for the closing in on you for the all around for this to show me how to get through for the shocking of the golden God and God. And this is to be the riches for the crush of the flesh. I listen to the rest of my life and I confess. UIO.
As if it was myself. Head, hand, and strap belonging to me so much, and the face head for to lead me to my child and flowers, and I can't run with hanging on to me like that for this been having $10 on a single lead, and no talent for the creatures with no hands, no trees, and no dogs, nobody's no further have the place to go for the face ahead, deep into the brick for the basement, another life. Kill some time, but I mean for the you could be the furnace and the light, you could be shine like you. There are always places none in their mind, and always time for the rainbow sugar show for the you can find the falling for the ice cream sky for the stuffs and extras for the never supply. Never, however, the crossing acres of it, and the violent means and sarcasm, and the beanie favors of it, and the prodigal for the particles, and the whimsical for the whimsical, with the miracles and embarrassment, glitches in the chorus just for more us and nowhere. Bare slippery, I ain't got the prayer. If I had two hands to rub together, I wouldn't waste the air. Had that time machine, but unfortunately couldn't travel into the future for the rate of the second per second for the which slows to the physics, and this would be the grant can admit it to the even to be for the manage to get there for the at the time for the next moment into the next and things can't turn off and I can't turn it off for the keeping the zipping ahead but not zipping if I try to get out of this time machine but open the latch and fall into the space and unconsciousness and this would be the desiccated for the I'm pretty sure and I'm afraid for this is so say inside there's a window for the though lit and showing to find a passage like a television for the fish tank for the never living of the always over the fish and swim backwards in circles and this would be the rear view. Mirror and another chance to see what I've been leaving behind for sometimes the black out there. The time wasted and sleeping in my ace, myself, fine, 8, whole 8, burnt with embarrassment. Having lost that library book and myself lurking with a candle in the corner, expecting to be found charming. Holding a rose, though I wanted to put it down so I could smoke and exploding into the mother for the food explodes. You can find it because it explodes into some dark star for the way back struck heart at a mother's mother. I turned away from the window for the anticipating the blow, but I thought I might find myself for this to be the woman or a man for the traveling so light in time, but I haven't gotten far at all. It's strange not to be able to pick up the pace and I can find the path is horrible fast. Slowly. UIO, as if it was myself. When you show yourself to the woman you love, you don't know your fear. It's not fear. You have never been good, but now you are so good. Who are you? It is the liquidity of her skin that bathes the word for you. The word, the face, captured like a she lion in your own flesh. This summer bed is soft with ring upon, letting the kind that doesn't clink upon the contact, the kind, no contract, the kind that would just go with the only light. Cloud covers and lifts, sleep at night. Soon enough, love's big fire laughs at the terrible burn, but only because pain absorbs access and joy, and you shouldn't flaunt. You shouldn't flaunt your treasures in front of all days and eyes. I'll go anywhere to leave you, but come with me. For all the cities are like you in the way, for the windows are darkened when you get close enough to see. Any place we want to stay polluted, the good spots taken already, those who ruin them. Those restaurants we'll never find. We eat rut in the ditch for the river for the nights, and so long for the must be cut by the many pairs of the wrong-handed scissors of man you be God's owns and doesn't share. I water God and make a hunted lake of rinse and run to find to take what I want for the ever since I would disappear for the like anything hunted for that's what you said for the disappointment for the it was tender for the dried and wide instead. Tourist snapped you crying in a blanket and I brought was dirty even though it's been lying around behind the blood for the whole year for the fall. It was clear so I forgot but I have been sleeping in the next to you twitching to the bare of my boring eyes and shipmate you sad enough for the very canoe all boats do. It's not just who, you. Not for the embarrassment of the wave, isn't it? For the particles refreshing, cool enough for the wave, for the way I am flushing, not washing dirtier than before. My etymology and the subject of the names, and they're so embarrassing that they think they're all us and swallowing themselves in the nausea. Yeah, we never quite die on the spot and to put off what we mean for the rear calls and take the hint for the time it's never wasted for the always spent sheer fabric trailing through. It was early enough for the mathematics to know that I know from the mirror the multiples inside. And the world is no bigger, but next time to do the math because I wanted to know one. Know none of what I know twice. The principles of this the board of saying there's no more likely for they can comprehend the exact opposite to what you mean for this is true. Only in so far for this is true for everyone equally and so it reads and after the special anyway for the should be enough for you for the documentary. Clothing and them allowed for the rapping that cut me up and out of pitchment. Floated knowing since I put myself through myself and now a unit perfect. The two minute I hoes have been cut with the piece together for the regular reflection. This and various others and medicine cure that embarrassment substitution. Strapped on plug ballers make headlines. Use grass, use less. Short, son of your skirt. Whether your shorts for this over recess and the redo look at the surface of your wrongs and turns and make them smoother in the future for the cosmology. These are less embarrassing for the cellar, beloved for the remember your whole part of the universe and the mother for the best of the party for the before that for the selves that is dirty like so for the good tried to really repel apology. Even the clumsy's fate is perfectly shaped so take took over looking for the sweetest thing I've ever known. The obscene, the beautiful sugar, write it down to its truth. Loving the serious accidental shame in the day fluctuates into the night for the tripping and the fall in front of millions into the morning and an eye father thrall for the focus of the end of the fear starts. So this is witching and annihilating for the blushing with the deep defining this is the procrastinating and such a stutter. Embarrassment of the human dark. When you show yourself to the woman you love. When you show yourself to the woman you love. You don't know your fear. When you show yourself to the woman you love, you don't know your fear. It's not fear. You have never been good, but now you are so good. Who are you? It is the